Hello, horror fans, and welcome back to Night Read. We are now on the second episode, the second part of The Kill. Yeah, this book still sucks. Jack and Megan are idiots and everything is terrible, so I'm not going to bore you with a long-winded intro, so let's do it.
Night Read.
Okay, so Jack and Megan back in New York. They're back to working, and they're just, they're not really feeling it. New York's loud, it's smelly, it's expensive, and after being in Deacon's Kill, where it was like, clean and peaceful despite the dead girl, they're maybe rethinking their lives. They might want a change of pace, maybe slow down, maybe go somewhere where they can think about raising a family and spending the rest of their lives. So Megan gets word at her job that they're going to be firing all of her staff on her editing crew, and she's gonna have to take on most of the responsibility, which just sounds crazy. But that pisses her off, and she's like, you know what, I can't fucking handle this. You guys expect way too much of me. You've been doing this to me for years. I'm out. So she breaks out, quits her job right there, packs her shit up and goes home. Jack, at his job, he doesn't hate his job, but he kind of feels like he's hit a wall. He doesn't really feel like there's any growth or any more for him to do. So he's having lunch with a writer friend of his, and he bounces the idea off of him of maybe becoming an agent so he can represent him and other writers that he's really fond of like him. And his buddy thinks it's a great idea. So right there, Jack's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to pursue a career as an agent. Megan, at the apartment, very frustrated. She has a little bit of a cry. She's really upset and confused as to what she really wants out of life. So she dives into the one thing that has always brought her peace, painting. She goes under her sink and she has 2 cans of paint. 1 can of red, 1 can of green. And she just goes fucking Christmas tree all over her apartment. She doesn't repaint the apartment. She just goes full stream of conscious Van Gogh ridiculousness all over the place. She paints a face that turns into a tree, that turns into some vines, that turns into a bird. And Jack comes home and sees this and really doesn't have many thoughts. He's just kind of like, huh, would you look at that? Even though she's totally fucked their security deposit, just ruined the apartment, but I don't know, whatever. He's really supportive and he loves her, so whatever. But she's like, hey, I've got to tell you something. And he's like, hey, I got to tell you something. So, jobless, they decide that they need to probably just chill for a little bit. Go on a little vacation, clear their heads. So Jack's like, well, what do you want to do? And Megan says, except for the dead girl. I really love Deacon's Kill. It was so nice. It was so peaceful. I really like John Chard and his family. I kind of want to go back there. So Jack's like, yeah, you know what? I was thinking the same thing. So they call up Susie and they say, hey, would it be cool if we hung out at your country home for a week or so? And she's like, oh, you mean the house where the girl got beaten to death? Yeah, sure, fucking go have a ball. So the plan is set. They're gonna go hang out in Deacon's Kill for a little while. Jack calls up John Chard, tells him that they're coming up there, and he wants to know if they'd like to grab dinner. John's like, yeah, actually, you know what? I've been thinking about you guys, and I would love to see you. Really? You mean it? Yeah. I love you. What? I gotta go. They head up to Deacon's Kill, and this is where the book just jams on the fucking brakes. Just comes to a screeching halt, and we get little bits of info here and there about what's happening in Deacon's Kill. We're introduced to a few more characters, but for the most part, I'd say 95% of the rest of the book, nothing happens. It's so bad. So, let's take a break.
What the fuck is that?
Okay, so everything I laid out literally happens within like the first 80 pages of the book. And then the book slows right the fuck down and just turns into shit. My biggest issue with like the biggest chunk of the book is that it focuses really heavy on Jack and Megan, and everything I told you about Jack and Megan is everything that is about them. They're just young and from New York, and they like Deacon's Kill, and that's about it. They're like pretty thin characters, like there's not a whole lot to them, and there's no development, like at all. You don't find anything out about them, like nothing about their past, nothing about like maybe their family history or anything that really bonds them together as a couple. The only reason you know they're a couple is because they say nice things to each other and occasionally have sex. But other than that, there's really nothing more to them. And I don't know why Alan Ryan chose to focus so heavily on them and the really bland story that is being told about them just really liking Deacon's Kill. But that's where he decided to go with this whole thing, so here we are. Ooh. Okay, yeah. Now that we're in the trenches of this fucking book, the first thing I gotta do is introduce you to some new characters. First character we got up to bat, Doc Warren. This is John Chard's longtime friend, right-hand man, local doctor of Deacon's Kill. He's okay as a character, you know, not the worst. He was always in a good mood, and he had some jokes and a pretty laid-back attitude most of the time. He had this really rad Mustang that he Tokyo drifted all over Deacon's Kill, and all the locals were like, slow down, you know? So I thought that was fine. He was fine. Fine character award for Doc Warren. The other character, however, is one of the worst characters, and that is saying a lot considering Steve Steiger's in this book, but this guy might be worse than Steve. His name is Jacob Helbig, and he is the loud, angry redneck of Deacon's Kill. Okay, in the beginning of the book, the prologue talks about a little girl being chased through the woods and then murdered. That was Jacob's daughter, Carla. Don't know where the mom is. They don't actually really mention anything about her at all. Whatever, it's just Jacob and Carla. So, Carla's been missing for several months, and John Chard's been working on her case, and he hasn't really turned up much. I think the only thing they've been able to find is a single shoe. Since the murder of Candy, John starts thinking, maybe these two things are connected. So he's been questioning Jacob pretty extensively for a while now, and Jacob is becoming increasingly frustrated by this whole process. But not because he's trying to mourn the loss of his daughter and he's mad that the cops won't stop coming around. No. He's mad because he literally thinks his daughter is still very much alive and simply hiding in the woods, evading the police to piss Jacob off. Yeah. He literally thinks his 7-year-old is just Bear Gryllsing it out in the woods with the ninja-like skill to evade an entire police force. Okay. And all of this is done just to spite Jacob, just to make him angry. So whenever the book talks about him, he's just brooding and boiling and so angry that no one appreciates me and what I've done, and that little bitch never cared about her old man, and then she runs off on me. Oh, when I find her, I'm gonna whoop her ass. Like, it's just that. Like, so much of that, and it's, oh boy, it's a lot. So he just keeps going on and on about how he wants to find his daughter and beat her up, because somehow that's gonna make her want to stay and not run away again. Okay, yeah, pretty bad. So, the other character is Martin Farron. Now, Martin and his family were the previous owners of Susie's house, where Jack and Megan are currently staying. Martin was a farmer, and he was very well respected throughout Deaconskill. Like, pillar of the community, everybody loved him, he was good friends with John Chard, and then one day, he packed up his shit and his family and fucking bounced. Sold the house within a few weeks and disappeared and didn't say shit. And this was a really big shock to everybody. What the fuck happened to Martin? Won't receive phone calls, he won't return letters, nothing. You know, John's been trying to get a hold of him forever and nothing. So, John is thinking, well shit, you know, with the disappearance of Carla, the murder of Candy, maybe Martin left because there's something seriously wrong with Deaconskill. Yeah. So this dude Martin, apparently he had taken his family to live with their son in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And he spends all of his time walking around Cambridge. Yep. I mean, I guess that's what you do when you give up your farm and uproot your life. You just become a walk-around guy. Seriously, that's like literally all he does, is just walk around and think about Cambridge, and that's it. The book does kind of dive into his thoughts and feelings on leaving, and he is having this like serious internal struggle with himself as to, you know, did he see what he saw? Did he experience like, you know, what happened on my property? Was leaving the right choice? You know, he's really struggling with all of that, which was kind of cool, but other than that, nope, he just walks around now. Okay, so those are all the 3 new characters you're gonna have to not really give a shit about through the rest of the book. Now, what we have to do is jump all the way
Forward
to the last, like, 80 pages of the book where something interesting decides to happen. Oh god, that was awful. Alright, so that wraps up the second part of The Kill. Third part's coming soon. I promise. I know it's taking me for fucking ever, but you know, life shit. So, like, subscribe, share it with people, or don't. It's fine. I get it if you don't want to. Alright, goodbye!